Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody is welcome. This is the March 13th meeting of the Chatham County Board of Elections, and we are here to canvass the results of our recent primary elections. All 5 board members are present. We have a quorum. The agenda today is going to be largely formalistic. Check a lot of boxes. A lot of the heavy lifting has already been done behind the scenes. But we will start off with our normal approval of the agenda. Board members have a chance to look at it. All in favor, say aye. Moving on, we have draft minutes from simple audit, but from last Friday's meeting. Copies of which are in your packet. Okay, it's actually divided on 2 pages. Yay. I'll invite comments if there are any up front. If there are none, I'll invite them to about 6 minutes.
We approve them.
Fair second. All in favor? Aye, thank you very much. Okay, moving on. The next item is approval of our draft audit summary from Tuesday's sample audit of 2 precincts in Chatham County. Well, we typically call it, say that that's not an official board meeting. In some ways it is, because we have sort of quite judicial authority to pick ballots if there are problems with any. We do not have any on Tuesday. So this is therefore merely a summary of what happened on Tuesday. You all have a chance to review. No comment. If I'm hearing no comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the summary from Tuesday's meeting. Thank you, is there a second? Second, Frank, thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. As I said, the agenda today is largely formalistic or pro forma. For those of you who may or may not have copies of it in front of you, what we're here to do is to basically certify the results of the primary election that occurred a week ago Tuesday. The remaining items on the agenda are dealing with reviewing precinct returns, certifying results, and then having the board complete county canvas abstracts for overall for the precincts and for the contest report. I will turn the floor over to Pandora for the moment to just talk about what we've done behind the scenes before the meeting and some of the details of what we're going to do next.
So what we have here is, like you said, the canvas is the official process of determining the votes that have been counted and tabulated correctly, resulting in the authentication of the official election result. So on this table over here, you'll see that we have black envelopes that those are the precinct returns from each chief judge from each election day precinct. It has the audit sheets in those black envelopes. And then the brightly colored folders are the early voting daily audit sheets. So they're available should anyone want to take a look at those. But those are how we audit daily for early voting and keep a track of how many ballots have been cast and how many people have actually voted. Those numbers do match. And we do have a spreadsheet to show you the ballots cast and the voter history. And also we have other documents that, we have the, sample audit summary available too. And then we have the absentee, abstracts. Those are available as well. So we have those there to be, transparency. So if anyone would like to look at it, they are available for anybody who would like to take a look at those. And then Marvin, if you'll pull up the, spreadsheet with the voter history. And also, and I'll go back to that. Can you make it bigger?
Then you for opinion.
Enlarge it. Okay. Thank you. All right, so the first, the little spreadsheet on the side over there with each precinct name, that is election day, the large sheet. It would be on your right? That's election day precinct. I'm sorry. It's on, I'm looking at my right from up here. Anyway, that's the election day precincts. And as you can see, it has, how many people voted in person, how many voted curbside. We also have some people who may be transferred, and then it has the total ballots that were cast. And then you have, the differences. And as you can see in East Siler City, we have more, people that voted than ballots cast. We're off by one. And the chief judge seems to think that maybe a voter maybe took their ballot and went out the door with it. It could also have been somebody may have clicked the vote button and somebody didn't get a ballot, but they do think that the person actually got the ballot and walked out the door with it. So that's why the machine is on one. So we can determine who that voter was. That's the only discrepancy that we have on election day, actually through the whole election. And as you can look up at early voting, at the top there, you'll see that, how many ballots were cast, how many people voted in person, and how many people voted curbside. And then, of course, we have the total voter history. So the ballots cast and the total voter history match, and that is the goal. And then if you look in the box on your over there to the absentee, you'll see that those, the total number of people voted and the ballots cast also. Provisionals are the same way. We did that meeting on last Friday. We had 30 provisionals and we had 30 people what we voted history. And then, of course, the totals are at the bottom, the grand total.
And I ask you also, do you think that this is a primary and it's not a presidential year? Do you think that the number of absentee ballots and the provisional ballot are less than maybe what we would have anticipated based on historical experience?
Well, for a primary, average about this amount. For a presidential, it can make 2,000. For example, 2,000 ballots.
I have the impression that we thought that we might get a whole lot more position like because of
What we did,
right.
we thought so, but
Yeah.
we're getting
We
ready
didn't
to
have
have
one.
one.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of people feel for a lot of people.
Like, from the turnout was lower than we expected. But when we get a higher turnout, like 65%, we're gonna run into more.
We're gonna run into more of the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also been a change of definition, right, that absentee is now a really small number. I think we used to call early voters, one stop was considered absentee voters.
But, yeah, but that would have a difference between.
It's the difference in mail.
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 Okay, sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. And then the totals are at the bottom, which is you can see how many people cast ballots on election day. It's broken down and with early vote, absentee and provisional. And we get 16,531 voter histories. And then we have 16,530 ballots cast. So that one is the difference in East Siler City, which is not bad. Usually, we like perfect, but we'll take that one. We don't want over 5. Because you gotta really find out why, yes.
So I'm gonna make sure I understand, the one ballot that is irregular, or that didn't get cast, or that has one more form and no ballot. So I've got here, putatively, one voter walked out of the voting space with an uncast ballot. That's one explanation. The other I've got written down is that someone clicked the vote button, but the voter did not receive a ballot. Like they voted, but they didn't get a ballot. So that would mean they didn't get to the ballot station, or
It could have been.
they could have been in the curbside voting and drove off. I know we could voted and then you walk out with the ballot, they drove off.
And that could have happened too.
That would probably be an incident that the person helping them would notice that, and that would have been noted in the incident report. But other two cases you said wouldn't necessarily be visible enough for somebody to create an incident.
Could click a vote button, but the voter not receive a ballot. That would have to occur in space. See, the curbside happens kind of outside the space,
Yeah,
but it's
usually-
designated as.
Usually the poll worker is out there while they're actually completing their ballots. They don't leave the car, but they do leave the car to go back in to take the ballot.
And then someone clicks the computer that they voted
Yes,
when they're sitting out in the parking lot and everybody's in the space,
yes.
which is, so let's think about, are there any other explanations? Besides,
That's the only explanation that we think that somebody could have, some people do that. They could have put it in the trash. You know, they could have just decided, I don't want to vote, then I'm going to throw it in the trash. Or they could have folded up, put it in the
put in their
pocket.
pocket.
Yeah. Not realizing that, you know, that's not what you're supposed to do, but, it's happened before. But it's,
You know what kind of a ballot it was, you don't really know.
I don't,
I mean, it could have been somebody that was disappointed because they wanted to vote libertarian or something.
yeah, could have been.
This is a primary.
That could have been possible too. Yeah. But that's the voter history, so everything, you know, meshed together, so we're glad of having not more than. It's better if you're gonna have a discrepancy to have more people voting than ballots cast, because when you got more ballots cast, then you wonder where they came from. So if you're gonna have that situation, it's probably better to have more people named down than ballots in the machine.
And they're really nice display.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful. I have it all on my page like.
Yeah. Sarah and I came, got this, I had half of it, she fixed it on here. Kind of pulled some of it from a state form that they had. But I thought it was better that you could see it all in one thing.
Well, so what it does is it basically aggregates on one page all of the results of what's over there, and it's got
Yeah.
it does it behind the scenes work, precinct by precinct, and absentee, and by early voting to make sure that what's there is on the sheet and it all matches up. With that, I would actually invite anybody on the board who wants to actually go review the black folders or the early voting result, if they would like to do that. If not, I would invite a motion to approve the precinct.
Have one for them.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this, the one ballot that did not end up in the tabulator, but we have an authorization to vote form and no ballot. That was on election day. If it had happened in the early voting, we'd have a number on that ATV. We'd have a number on the authorization to vote form.
Track it down.
And we could rifle through the
But
ballots and try to find that number.
Yeah.
But this happened election day,
exactly.
and we don't have a number on it. And this is the hypocrisy or the irregularity of nomenclature, because we used to call it early, one-stop voting, which had numbers on it. Now it's changed to early voting. It still has numbers on it. It's the same thing. And one-stop voting is called absentee. Early voting is probably absentee, because we can retrieve.
It's early, it's just early voting. It's just a retrievable ballot.
I think calling it absentee is misleading.
Yeah.
They weren't absent, they were there.
Right.
But they voted before election day.
Right, but absentee is misleading. Oh, it's in-person voting.
Right,
Yeah, good point.
So that's what. Then even probably if the person actually had taken the ballot in early voting and we grappled through ballots, the ballot still wouldn't have been found, so if they took it. If they disposed of the ballot, we wouldn't have found the ballot.
Would we know who the voter was?
I don't know. If we-
On the nominee. Early voting, form.
I don't know.
so I invited the motion to approve the precinct returns. Is that what we do?
That's what I'm doing.
Is there a second?
The precinct returns. in the group.
Second. All in favor? Thank you, everybody. Okay.
So who was the second?
All right,
Lord,
so, she actually has unofficial, do you have the unofficial result? There, no. And I was just gonna show the unofficial results because we didn't have any your carver ballots that was returned to the mail for us to meet yesterday to add any additional totals to the counts, and the last upload was done on last Friday, which was the provisional ballots. And these are the unofficial results. You can see the total.
okay.
Yeah. Those are that's the number of ballots cast of 16,350.
530.
530, I'm sorry. That's very little,
70.
age and eyes.
So this is reporting them by grades. Right.
Yeah. And as you can see on the sheet, that's how many ballots were cast. And that is the unofficial results. And then we have the official results. And the total has not changed.
So what we did before this meeting was compare what we had on election night. With what we have today, and there have been no changes. Just put a finer point on it, when Pandora refers to Utah ballots, those are the overseas civilian and military ballots. And then, that would have changed the results. So the only change that could have been made would have been a ballot submitted by mail that we received by 5 o'clock yesterday. And there were none that were received. So the results have not changed from the data that we reported on election night. And behind the scenes, these results have been quote unquote published internally, and they've also been sent to the state board, but they have not been finalized. So.
Which we're getting the provisional votes on, which were out without.
Which were, excuse me, that's correct. They were out.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And then you'll show me, official report, Marvin, where they actually certified the result. You don't have it, you have it, you don't have it. There's official, we got it right here, Tam has it. You can. I think the board members have a copy. You have a copy of this?
Yeah, that's unofficial.
That's unofficial. Well, he has the official and you can just pass it down and they can see it.
So
I didn't want to make a bunch of copies, trying to say,
So this is gonna be a duplicate. Present,
pretty much.
and what are you gonna also find it?
I'll have to go print some reports that says that that's finalized. After you certify it. Make it official.
It's a full copy.
Yeah.
One,
just the header that says official, the set of unofficial.
that's all the change.
And Erica and I,
All the numbers.
did the bipartisan review
Looked at them
report.
all.
Okay.
They were-
It's the same.
So the incident report also.
Yes.
And did you take the incident reports out?
They're over there.
Oh, they are separate folder.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And they're still separated.
Looks the same to me.
Everybody having had an opportunity to compare the unofficial and official results, do we have a motion to certify the results from the March 3rd, 2026 primary election?
I'm always certify the results.
For a second.
We have a little discussion.
Absolutely.
I mentioned this to Pandora earlier today, that, there can be an occasion where there's an incident that might make you think that there's something wrong with the results. I mean, even if everything's all matching up. If there was an incident of some sort that might need to be addressed before candidates, is complete, like, I don't know, there's a flood and one of the polling places is closed for half the day or something like that. But in this case, the board has all looked at the incident reports and there are things that need to be addressed perhaps, but there's nothing that would make you think that there's been any change to the voting process or that any votes have been missed or anything wrong can happen that would affect the outcome. Just want to say that.
No, I appreciate it.
They were good with the incidents and we can discuss them later. We don't really deal with anything today.
No, it's good for everybody to know that, and all five of us have looked at this incident reports, and I think if there were something material that was amiss, I think there would have been comments about it, and just so everybody knows, we will have a little bit of an after action report at next Tuesday's meeting, where we can talk about those at a high level without getting into too much granularity. All right, so we have a motion on the floor from Frank. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Results are certified. Yay. So Pandora, you're free now to go finalize. We can execute the abstract. Thank you. We'll have a short recess. Nobody go anywhere. It's not going to take a long time.
What is she gonna do?
She's hitting the finalize button on the software program. And they're printing off the abstracts.
Geared to the public as final results, official results.
Right.
Have them on it.
They've already been uploaded to the state, but we just be final abstracts that we sign. We'll have a copy of the state, will have a copy of it. All copies, I think, they're what the registered.
Can I? Father, can I make comments?
Sure. But
Should I wait? Oh, I'm gonna wait till.
all right.
This is the,
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're reconvening our meeting at 11:37 after a short recess. Pandora.
Okay. So this is the abstract of votes for the county of Chatham for the primary of March 3rd, 2026. You've got your, primary election results by contest. This is what's required to be sent to the state, and they also, because we made it triplicate, we keep a copy and copy goes to the clerk of court. This is the primary election results by precinct. And this is the abstract that will be completed and have, is it your signature? All the board members sign it.
All board members. So do we need to sign or initial these?
No, you don't have to, it's just abstract that goes with that. And these are the reports that were printed from the Verity count machine, Marvin, these are the official result.
Okay.
They will go with those reports to the state. Thank you.
I will. Pass those around. This was done by precinct. So this is the total one. And if you aggregate right up front, and then it's by precinct.
I have to print those. I think it also goes to the state. On pages.
Yes.
You know, the thing.
And it starts off.
So it's not like that.
This came off our machine.
That came out of the state
So
elections information.
Hierarchies are more results, not hierarchies. The winner at the top and the lowest number at the bottom. So you can't follow as easily. That's
It's like precinct. That came off the Verity count machine.
But these are the same, but this comes from the state.
Comes from the state elections information management system out of election reporting.
Back to us.
I just printed it after I finalized,
Because this is what we have, it's,
that came out of the heart.
yeah, the numbers are the same, but this one has them hierarchy differently, so it's,
You know where I go in to upload the results on election
yeah,
night?
yeah.
That report came out of that. After I finalized, canvas.
What's this right here?
So you got the precinct report and a contest report.
That came out of there as well. It's just showing official on there.
And the only document that we sign is the cover sheet.
These things are.
Oh, we just saw the unofficial ones. Right. We saw. And then for advantage of the final. Ready for the minute. Maybe we're expecting.
Oh, I've got something here called official.
You should, it's the black and white one.
Okay.
That's the one showing that there.
Thank you, if nobody wants it.
I'll take it, you want?
All righty. The abstract cover sheet has been duly executed by all 5 board members and notified by Pandora. We've reviewed the precinct reports, the contest reports. There are no further comments. Are you moving or are you commenting?
No, I have a comment.
Okay.
So, I don't know the answer to this, so I'm just gonna throw this out on the table, and it's to, substantiate what, member Heisey mentioned a while ago, and that's incident reports. If we had a substantive irregularity, see, the closest race I saw were 2 races that were 500 votes apart. And that is, this Roberson O'Brien race for county commissioner. And, the other one that was 500 votes apart kind of was Michael Byrne and Matt Smith, which is a judgeship. If we had substantive irregularities on incident reports, it might affect what we do here today, whether we certify or don't certify, especially we had a close race. Now, as it turns out, we looked at them and we said that, most of us thought there wasn't anything substantive that would affect the outcomes. What am I working on? I wonder if we should have a bullet point at this meeting that says we reviewed the incident reports and they're not outcome determinative. Or something nothing needs to be adjudicated or investigated, that would be outcome determinative. Because if we had, just a summary statement, because if we had something that was significant, we may not certify. we may have a big hullabaloo.
So I think what Erica will tell you is that she's already accounted for that in the minutes and indicated that the one discrepancy that was indicated, that cumulative report is not outcome determined.
But that's different than the incident reports.
That's in the minutes too. The comment about the minutes, when you read that. Member Heisey stated that although the incident reports raised some issues that the board needed to discuss, they showed no problems that would have affected the integrity of the election or its outcome. Is that acceptable?
I was talking about a bullet point on the agendas where we addressed in a blanket statement saying. I can. Outcome dependent, or if it would. In which case, it may alter what we do. So,
I think if say, for instance, those two races were as closer than they are, kind of like what's going on in Gifford County and Rockingham County, that would be up to the candidate to ask for a recount, or we may have some type of elections protest. So you would still certify the results, then they have things in place to, if some of the, incident reports was something that would have caused the election to, for them to protest it, then it would come before you then.
They would be able to review the
Exactly.
provisionals and the incident reports and anything else.
Yes.
Right.
Those issues.
what if we detect that we had a poll worker who was, needed discipline and had done something wrong with 200 ballots? Would we step in and adjudicate that, or would we allow the candidates to adjudicate?
So the canvas would do that, that would be a.
That would be us.
Yeah, but if that would have been determined probably before we got to, it would have been up front in the canvas.
Well, that would be an incident report discussion, but not.
It would have been a, closed session hearing to recommend that poll worker and also maybe to relieve them of their duties.
I've said my, the bullet point saying a blanket statement that we didn't see any substantive irregularities that would influence the outcome might be, and then done. But it means,
There's two things, to influence the outcome would require lots and lots of ballots. Like you say, 500 or something. Anyway, the judge race is statewide, so we have to look at the state results, and they aren't close either. And then there is whether anything in the incidents indicates whether any ballots were counted improperly or not counted when they should have been counted. I didn't really see anything in the incidents that prevented somebody from voting or counted their ballot incorrectly. So I didn't see anything in the incident that would affect ballots, much less outcomes.
I think if I can paraphrase what you were saying, Frank is just asking me to be part of the canvas agenda, if we address the issue of the incidents, to say either there's a problem we need to talk about, or we have reviewed the incidents that were reported and we don't see anything that's.
We kind of sort of did, but showing it on the agenda.
Well, we
would
did
be
because I
fine.
brought it up,
Yeah,
but it could be part of the agenda in the future.
Going forward, we make a note that would be added to November's agenda.
And what was the exact, item?
how about something like, are there accumulated incident reports that would be in the judgment of the board would be outcome determinative, or that may affect, if they're irrelevant, if they're irrelevant, then
It's materiality of incident.
oh, what thing.
What's that? Okay,
I'm missing, the other report that looks similar.
Yeah, I thought
it's a
so.
different one.
That, Frank,
Oh, I got this.
Yeah, I need
Who's gonna walk up with it?
I passed. On you.
these places.
You see how protected I am.
Okay. If there are no further comments, is there a motion to adjourn? I'm seconding. All in favor? Thank you, everybody. election number 1 for 2026 is done.
Thanks, Pandora.
You're welcome.
And we can be assured there's no second primary.
Yes.
For a change.
All the problems, recount.